Well, so John, let me interrupt you if I could, and I hesitate to do that because you're a great storyteller. However, before we move to going back to San Francisco and the big move to the destroyer, talk more about the submarine tender. Tell us all about a day in the life of a submarine tender and what it was like in Australia. Did you go swimming? So if you have a few, let's take a few more minutes and just talk about that year of your life, John. Thank you.
Okay. Well, while we're on the submarine tender, we worked 24 hours a day. We had a day shift and a night shift. So for 1 week you work night shift, the next week you work day shift. And when you're on day shift, you could go swimming or you could go ashore, go into Perth was a nice big town, and enjoy the scenery there. And so every day that we were off, if you didn't want to sleep during the day, because you had to work at night, so you'd go in the morning, come back about 2 o'clock, take a nap before they woke up, because 8 o'clock you had to be back on, go to work and work all night until 8 o'clock in the morning. So that was kind of work. It was rough on you. But we had so much work on these submarines. Not only did we have our submarines, but we were repairing submarines from England. And they had their stewards on there all had they were either Chinese or Filipino stewards who took care of stewards for the officers on those submarines. And during the day, they'd have a tea break for them and stop work on there and have tea. So they said, well, you guys come and have tea with us, and stop the work. So the skipper on the Peleus, he said, we got to keep working. He says, forget the tea, drink it and get to work. But it was very interesting to work on those submarines from foreign countries, because that was the only place they could come to Australia to get any repairs. They were too far from England to get back. So we were able to save a lot of submarines there. That was interesting work. And so it gave me a lot of encouragement in my as a first class ship fitter, that I think that's why when I went back to the States and got the USS Brown and put it in commission, and we went back out and we were assigned to the carriers, 8 carriers. So there was 24 destroyers that were circle these 8 carriers all the time. This is the 546, and I was on her for 4 years during the war. Went on there in 1943, and I guess it wasn't 4 years. I got off of there in 1946. But we shot down many planes, and we recovered a lot of aircraft, our aircraft, because every time the ships come back to land on the aircraft, if they were damaged, they would not let them land on, they had to ditch the plane. And they didn't have any helicopters at that time, so you always had to send a diver, a swimmer, to rescue the pilot. So the skipper would break away from the carrier that he was following as they were dropping the planes aboard, and come back and drop me off. I had to swim and stay with it, get the pilot out of the plane. I had maybe 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, because that's all they would so badly damaged, and they would sink. And if you didn't get them out, and they had pilots in there that were damaged, broken legs or shot at, most of them all had wounds, so you had to get them out of there real fast. And stay with them, because the sharks would come around you because they could smell the blood. It didn't take long, but each pilot had a little pouch of powder. It was green, and they would put it in the water, cut this pouch open, and it would spread around them, and you stay in that patch of green, and the sharks would stay out of it. For some reason, there was something in that powder they didn't like, and so we stayed in there until your ship come back to pick you up. Sometime you might be in there half hour in the water, because they still had to stay with that carrier and land all those planes. So that was quite a scary situation. I know, like, the pilots would say, are they going to come and get us? I says, as long as we stay in this green water, they're going to stay away, because some of them had bullet shots in the chest or in the arms, and some of them in the leg, and the blood in the water. I think a shark can detect you a mile away. I don't know how they did it, but boy, they could sure get around you fast. Anyway, every time that we got a pilot back aboard, and we had to transfer him back to the carrier. Every time we bring a pilot back and give him back to the carrier, we would get 5 gallons of ice cream. And so one day we had eight pilots we picked up in one day, and we brought them back to the carrier, and the skipper said, well, we have no more ice cream. The skipper says, we'll hold 4 men tonight, and tomorrow morning have the 4 cans of ice cream ready, and we'll give you the men. So we kept the pilots aboard, because they couldn't use them on the pilot. They didn't have any planes, but the ice cream was good, but we had to separate give the ice cream to the other destroyers that didn't have pickups, so we were kind of sharing the ice cream to these other destroyers, because we didn't have ice cream machines, but all the carriers had ice cream machines, so that was quite a feat, something different. So.
Well, John, do keep talking about this part of your career. So I was thinking like a whole hour about you and the destroyers on the Brown, and then later on when, you made chief. And so keep going, John. Don't let me, I shouldn't interrupt you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Well, anyway, I was aboard for about 6 months, and so the skipper had to report to the aircraft carriers every day. The admirals were telling him different situations, and they said the ship, the Brown, had 26 men that were saved there in about 2 months. He says, who is this man that does this? And he said, his name is John Chapman. He's a first-class shipfitter. So the admiral, he was Spruance. He says, well, next time there's an opening, he says, I want that man made a chief. He says, that man was quite brave to go and save that many men. And that destroyer that had the chief on, we only had 1 chief for every 12 destroyers. He got killed during an attack, and the next day the captain called me up and he says, well, you're now a chief, John. He says, you got to take care of 12 destroyers now. He says, when they have trouble, you'll have to go aboard each one and help them get the repairs wherever they have a hole put in the ship from a submarine, another submarine, or a plane. We have to repair that hole. We'd have to take different sections off the ship, bulkheads, inner bulkheads, to patch these holes, because we didn't carry any steel plates to do that. So we were cutting our own ships up to repair the ships so they could still stay out there. And so that was an interesting job. I enjoyed that very much. But anyway, I made chief, and I didn't have 4 years in the Navy, so I had a hash mark for every 4 years. They had a stripe on your arm showing you had 4 years. So I was a slick arm chief. So it was something different. I got back to the States after the war was over with, and everybody kind of looked at me and said, "Where's your hash marks?" And I said, "I haven't got 4 years in yet."
Excellent.
Take a break here.
If you'd like to, sure. If you want to, yeah, let's take a quick break, because we want to hear, this is really good stuff. So, do you want a drink of water?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, you know, we're recording still. I want to hear now, what's your exercise routine again, please, that you do every day, John?
Oh, I do my exercise every day. I do 100 set-ups, 100 push-ups, and 25 pull-ups.
Okay.
So
I gotta think
that's
about
why I'm
this.
still alive today, because I think I'm still strong.
Yes.
And it gives me an incentive to keep doing it. It keeps me alive.
Well, let me talk for a few seconds and let you take a quick break with your voice. Now, do you go to these West Virginia reunions, for the battleship reunions?
When we were in Arizona, we
Yeah.
joined the West Virginia.
Okay. So they're going to have a thing in New Orleans this year, right? I don't know if you guys might want to go to that or something, but yeah, the West Virginia ship, I think it's them, is going to have a reunion in New Orleans or something, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that may be happening. And then, of course, they want you in the parade here in Concord. Have they called you? Anyway, we want to take you to the parade. Are you going to be here July 4th? Is he available to do something crazy like that, maybe? So we could come by, pick him up, and you too, of course, and they'll put you in a Model A, drive you. It's a very short parade this year, so it would be, why not, right? So, does that sound right, Denise?
Yeah, they said they wanted us in uniform, but I've got the uniform, but I haven't got that hat that they had.
The white hat, sure, sure. Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out, or we'll talk to Kathleen about this. Kathleen takes this lady. Her dad was on California. Yeah, yeah. Well, John, you have some of my favorite stories of all time. When we left your house last time, John, we said you had more spectacular moments in your life than anyone that we've recorded so far. And we've had a lot of name dropping. We've had people drop, "Oh, I met Martin Luther King," or "Oh, I was naked in front of Mrs. Roosevelt," in the army, out there somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I didn't say naked, but they were
skinny dipping.
There was something.
They were bathing.
Stories like that. But then you dropped on us you met King Kamehameha, is that correct? That's incredible. Plus all of your adventures, rescuing people and all. So, can you still keep talking? Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be quiet, and thank you for letting us share these stories with you today. Okay, I'm going to sit down because this is good stuff. So, just again, not to coach you too much because you know what you want to say, so we're not even going to ask you many questions at all, but just keep going on all about the war, about the island hopping, and then we still need to find time to hear after the war what you did in your career and how you ended up here in Concord in this beautiful, wonderful house here, right? What a happy ending. So I'll be quiet, but like I say, just take your time, and we could even come back again to do more. But we love all the details. Thanks, John.